Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at UFC 316, Dvalishvili versus SeanO'Malley 2. I'm going to be taking you through the whole event, giving you my predictions, starting with the prelim. Let's just get right into it. I won't waste your time. It's a pretty decent card. Let's just get stuck in. First up, we've got Markel Medeiros versus Mark Choinsky. We're going to be going with Medeiros by unanimous decision. More proven at the UFC level. Choinsky's not bad, but we haven't really seen him against UFC level competition. So yeah, we're gonna be going with Markel Medeiros, probably by unanimous decision. I see it going distance, but I don't see Choinsky passing the test of Medeiros. But that's fine. It's just a debut. I'm sure he'll find his feet eventually. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of an don't want to say starstruck, but it's a different level of competition. You know, fighting on the UFC stage, you see a lot of these guys fumble a little bit at the start of their career, but that's fine. The career in the UFC even, but that's fine. Yeah, we're going to go with Medeiros by unanimous decision. Next up, we've got Quinlan Salkild versus Yanel Ashmaus. I'm going to be going with Salkild. I want to say Salkild by TKO, but to be honest, Ashmaus has got a pretty good chin on him. So yeah, we're going to be going with skill out by unanimous decision. I feel like there is potential for a TKO KO, but no, I think Ashmaus kind of hangs in there and gets the job done. Well, manages to survive. He doesn't get the job done. He manages to survive. He's got a decent chin on him. I think he can take a few good knocks and keep going forward and survive, you know. So yeah, we're going to go by Salkild, probably by unanimous decision. On to the next one. Jusang Yu versus Jerka Sharaki. Hope that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Yu wins this one, to be honest. You can't be getting finished by Anshul Jubilee. So even though Ju Sang Yu is making his debut, I do think rhymed as well. I do think he's probably going to get the job done. I think he probably gets it done by knockout. I don't really think you should be getting knocked out by Anshul Jubilee, even if you did get caught off guard or whatever. It's not a good look. So it makes me not want to pick Saragi. So yeah, we're gonna be going with Yu. Thinking Yu by TKO. On to the next one. Lipsky da Silva versus Wang Kong, whatever you prefer. I'm a fan of Wang Kong Wang. She's pretty good. She's entertaining. I've never really been disappointed with the Kong Wang fight, as much as I give the women a bit of a hard time on the channel for being less entertaining than the men. Kong Wang's a pretty entertaining fighter. So yeah, I'm going to be picking Kong Wang. I'm a fan of her. She's a favourite to win, and most other people are picking her. So I'm confident with her. It's probably going to be a decision. These are still women. It's going to be entertaining because they're not boring fighters, fortunately. So it's going to be quite an entertaining fight from the women to start us off. But yeah, I think Kong Wang wins probably by decision. But I wouldn't rule out a TKO like KO scenario. I just think with the women's divisions, it's a little bit less likely. They lack the power sometimes, or the finishing potential, the follow up, if you will. So yeah, Kong Wang probably by decision, but there's potential for a TKO there. Keep your eyes open if you see Da Silva getting hurt a little bit. Hang on a minute, we should put a live bet on there for the knockout. But yeah, so we're going with Kong Wang probably by decision. On to the next one. Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. So Gustafsson rescheduled, I believe, from last week, and I picked him to win, but I'm actually going against him this time. Look, he's a promising prospect. He did well on Contenders. I just think Williams might be too soon for him, personally. And I could see him committing and actually getting chinned himself. So it's a tough one. I couldn't really say how it goes. I don't think Gustafsson's going to knock out Chaos Williams, to be honest. So it's a tough call. No, I think Chaos Williams is a little bit too soon for Andreas Gustafsson. I'm going to go with a Chaos Williams knockout. And I think Gustafsson plays it poorly and gets caught by a vicious shot from Chaos Williams. So I think that's an underdog pick as well. So you can have that one. You take that one to the bank with you. Not much more to say on that one. On to the next one. Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortes Acosta. I'm going to be going with Waldo. I think he's just more consistent, to be honest. All round more consistent. Yeah. He's got some decent momentum as well. I think he's on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak. You know, Spivak's coming off of a loss. He seems to stumble when he's coming across guys that are like that have high potential to be in top 5, top 10 positions. You know, he seems to stumble against those guys quite a bit. That's where he has the most trouble. And I think Waldo Acosta. I think Waldo Cortes Acosta is yeah. I think he's that level. So yeah, I'm thinking a decision for Acosta over Sergey Spivak. Maybe it slows down a lot during the fight. I think it slows down a lot. You know, it's heavyweights, so I think they're going to slow down a lot, and it's going to come to a boring decision. It's going to kind of ruin the pace of the cards. But I do see Waldo coming away with the win, probably by a unanimous decision. On to the next one, Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenson Ribeiro. I think I'm going with Azamat, to be honest. On a really good streak, really good momentum. I don't want to count Ribeiro out so quickly, but honestly, he gets caught a lot, and Azamat's not the guy you want to take shots from, even if you are feeling confidence in your chin, and normally if your chin holds up for you, you know, and it doesn't always hold up for him. You know, he's been dropped, he's been finished before, so yeah, I don't see him having changed his whole defensive style in preparation for this fight. So yeah, I think Azamat probably by KO. I know that's what the odds makers are saying. So there you go. There's probably a lot of the card, to be fair, is Azamat by KO. Next up, we have Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Now I'm a fan of Joshua Van. That rhymed as well. I am a fan. He's pretty good. He's a big favourite going into this one, but I think that works against him. And I think there's big potential for Silva to get the upset knockout. You know, both guys have hands. I do think Joshua Van's more skilled and more technically skilled, if you will. But no, I think Bruno Silva can kind of take the damage and kind of just find Joshua Van and finish him. And he's a big underdog as well. I think a lot of people are picking Joshua Van to win this one, probably to get the knockout as well. But I would argue that Joshua Van hasn't really knocked out that many people since getting to the UFC. Sure, he's younger. He's probably going to have a gas-like advantage. In fact, how much younger is he? Is he a fair bit younger? Let's take a look. Yeah, so he's a fair bit younger. I just feel like Bruno Silva isn't going to get finished by Joshua Van. I don't think he's going to get finished by Joshua Van. And I think Joshua Van committing to finishing Bruno Silva's where Van probably gets caught and finished himself. So yeah, I'm going to go with a crazy Bruno Silva knockout pick. Probably bizarre. I'm probably going to regret it later. But yeah, we're going to go Bruno Silva with another underdog pick. And I'm thinking Bruno Silva by knockouts, to be honest. On to the next one. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. I'm picking Kevin Holland. Yeah, it has to be done. No, yeah, Holland probably wins this one. Look, I can see him KOing Luque. Like he's gonna commit to throwing the strikes. He's not gonna want to grapple. He's not gonna let Luque change the pace. And he's probably gonna try and hurt him early and finish him early. And honestly, I could see it happening. Like Luque isn't the same fighter he was. And like now when he gets hurt, he kind of wilts really quickly. And I don't blame him, you know. So yeah, I can see Kevin Holland landing early, and that just kind of ruining the will of Vicente Luque. So yeah, we're gonna go with Kevin Holland, but I'm thinking by a decision, to be honest. I don't think. No, you know what? I think Kevin Holland finishes him. I think he hurts him, he makes him wilt, and then he just follows up and finishes. So yeah, we're gonna go Kevin Holland by TKO. A little bit of debate in there for you, a little bit of a debate from me there. But yeah, no, we're gonna go Kevin Holland by TKO. On to the next one, main card time, I do believe, and that was the start of the main card. That was to bring us into the main card. Next up, we've got Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. I think Patchy Mix has been given a favourable matchup in regards to this fight. I think he's a decent name outside of the UFC. Like, people know Patchy Mix is from outside the UFC. He's done well to build his brand while being outside the UFC. So I think they've given him kind of I don't want to say a layup, because Mario Bautista is not a layup, but I think it's a more favourable matchup. They've given him a fight that statistically or style-wise, he's more likely to win. So yeah, I'm going to be going with Patchy Mix. Yeah, I think Patchy Mix probably by a decision. I know a few people have got him by knockout. Yeah, he knocks dudes out. Don't forget though, even though I'm picking him to win, this is UFC level now, and the guys are slightly better than the previous competition he's been facing. So I could see Patchy Mix by decision. There is potential for a knockout, of course. There's potential for a knockout. It's Patchy Mix, but no, I think it goes to a decision. Yeah, I think it goes to a decision. I think Batista's kind of got an unfavourable matchup in this regard. So yeah, we're going to be going with Patchy Mix probably by decision. Next up, we've got Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Kelvin Gastelum a few years ago maybe stood a better chance. Kelvin Gastelum now, I don't think so. I think Joe Pyfer sleeps him. I don't even need to spend much time on this one. I think Joe Pyfer sleeps Kelvin Gastelum, so I'm going to pick Joe Pyfer by knockout. And I think really early on as well. I think Joe Pyfer just bulldozes him. I don't think Gastelum survives very long. It's not the same Gastelum of old. Next up, Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. Again, another easy one for me. I'm picking Kayla Harrison. I'm thinking Kayla Harrison by submission. In the same way that with Patchy Mix, it's like, don't big him up too much with this KO, but with expecting him to get a KO, because this is a new level of competition. I think it's the same with Kayla Harrison. I know a few people are picking Kayla Harrison by KO. I don't see it. In fact, I think you're more likely to get a Kayla Harrison submission, and that's what I'm going to be picking. I think physicality-wise, she's going to be a lot stronger. Her arms are a little bit shorter, but I think she's going to be just a force to be reckoned with physically. Just outmatching Juliana Pena everywhere, just with physicality. And I think she is going to be able to hit Pena on the feet, but I think inevitably it ends with the submission. Thinking some sort of Kimura armbar type scenario, maybe even a choke. But no, I'm thinking a limb. She takes a limb. But yeah, so yeah, we're going with Kayla Harrison by submission. I'm thinking late in round 2 or like the middle of round 3, like it's a slow start to round 3, and then once it gets back to the ground, Kayla Harrison finds a submission. So yeah, we're going to go Kayla Harrison by submission over Juliana Pena. On to the next one, the final one, the main event, the big one, the rematch. Merab Dvalishvili versus SeanO'Malley 2. I think it's going to be much of the same in regards to like it being a rematch. I think Merab's going to win again. I don't think there's much Sean can do to kind of change up his game plan. I think Merab's willing to meet him anywhere, and I think Merab just doing what Merab does is kind of going to get him the win. I think it's a really bad stylistic matchup for O'Malley, and I think the real change up that O'Malley's going to make is just keeping his hands really low and just staying out of range the whole time. And you're going to see a lot of Merab just kind of running at him recklessly, and Sean being too timid to throw because he's worried about getting controlled and held against the fence, or even like an attempted takedown, He's too worried about getting grabbed a hold of and controlled. So you're going to see him with his hands low to kind of fight away the hands of Merab, the control of Merab, and not really looking to throw as much as you would expect from Sean O'Malley. So yeah, I think Merab kind of dominates the fight. I think O'Malley has a hard time getting started again. I think it is going to be much of the same in regards to the last fight. If anything, slightly more boring because Sean's going to be a lot less willing to engage. I could see Sean O'Malley just being kind of stun locked again, and that's kind of what happened in the first fight. It's just his style doesn't possess a lot of things to counter Merab's style, whereas Merab's style is almost all kind of a counter to O'Malley's style. I'm not saying it's impossible for O'Malley. O'Malley could hit him early on and follow him down and finish him. You know, O'Malley could get a clean knockout, could hurt him standing and just keep chipping away at him, get that highlight finish. I just don't think it's going to happen. Merab doesn't seem as confident this time round, looking at the press conference and stuff. He's had a bad weight cut, I do believe. But I do believe styles make fights. And that's a proper casual thing to say. Styles make fights, but they do. And I just don't think O'Malley has much in his arsenal to counter Merab. I'm sure he could have learned some things. Sure, he's gone back to the drawing board and he's looked at positions and where he could stand and holes in Merab's game where he could land shots. But honestly, I don't think O'Malley's going to come out. I don't think O'Malley's going to come out as a completely different fighter. It's still going to be O'Malley. He's just got to adapt his game. I don't think there's enough to adapt to get him a win over Merab, which is sad to say because I'm an O'Malley fan. But I'll be honest, Merab's starting to win me over. You know. But yeah, so we're going to go with Merab, probably by a decision. Yeah, going to go with Merab by decision. Yeah, Merab by decision over Sean O'Malley. And that does conclude the video. So if you enjoyed it, please consider leaving me a like. Subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We had a little dip in subscriber counts, but that's okay. The prediction videos haven't been doing super well. Don't know what's going on. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I swore or something too early in the video. Maybe. But until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.